As we all know, the last time the popular culture cared about Destiny about a year ago, we saw him actively being, you would say, betrayed romantically by Melina Goranson and the dollar store Ezra Miller. And now we have a new meltdown by the guy, which kind of shows the rotten core of a secular, Adderall-brained liberal who has a hate and disdain for Donald Trump to the point that if a guy survives a assassination attempt, he's all of a sudden a pariah on a new level. It's an insane thing, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it now. So let's just get start with the basics, okay? So the start is gonna really involve and inculcate a tremendous amount of seed that you're gonna have a hard time really watching. But the truth is that most people, and by most I mean like almost literally everybody you could think of, even people like Vaush, contemptible people like Hassan Abi, all these people at least conceded like, okay, wow, this is a bad look. Okay, let's not claim that it was staged, or at least they tried to pull that off. Now, obviously, the leftists are stir crazy about this, but Destiny, who's supposed to be the moderate, kind of like the blue-haired version of Bill Maher, basically, for the lack of a better term. On the left wing is supposed to be the reasonable one that debates with the right wingers. I debated him over a year ago. Hopefully that gets memory hold. But anyway, when it comes down to it, Destiny has this huge hate boner for Donald Trump, which belies a bigger Freudian analysis I have for you later on. Anyway, these are going to be the start of the tweets that really got him in hot water. He got demonetized by X, Twitter, and he also got banned for 12 hours or suspended, basically because he was so egregiously stupid that he kind of warranted it. Now, let's see what we're going to start off on the 13th. What are the arguments that Trump is a fascist? Resisting the peaceful transfer of power with fake electors and pressure on his vice president to toss out the vote because he knew he lost the election. Okay, listen to the illogical notion that he's putting out there. Number one, there is no proof that Donald Trump thought that he lost the election legitimately. He, if you think those were farts, he was huffing them just as if they were real, okay? There is no reason to think that Donald Trump had this like Machiavellian, like, I'm going to pretend like I won. How the hell would he know, honestly? So, no, this is ridiculous to just assume and mind read a guy who he hates is, a confirmation bias, to say the least. Duh. Also, let's keep nitpicking this guy because he deserves it. Resisting the peaceful transfer of power with fake electors. Okay, first of all, how is it resisting the peaceful transfer of power? See, he adds this as an adjective because it makes it sound like, oh, it's so holy. It's like it's really like this Ark of the Covenant, okay? No, it isn't. Peaceful transfer. Trump never suggested any violence ever directly, number one. And then two, obviously, what's important to note here is that Trump's idea of like having a new slate of electors and then have an audit for over 10 days in an investigation that gets debated in the House of Representatives, that whole notion has no violence in it, Dip. Shit. Okay, let's just get it real. Like, what the hell? He's just lying. He's lying. That's the thing with Destiny. He's not even a stupid liberal. He's a midwit liar is the issue. Now, so hold on. Look at this. Even if you lost an election, that doesn't give you the right to circumvent the electoral process and unilaterally declare yourself the ruler for the next 4 years. Again, that was not what Trump was trying to do here. He was going to get Mike Pence to acknowledge different electors and then have a debate in front of everybody in the public over the election results. It wasn't an issue of, okay, I'm leader. If he were doing that, then he would have said, okay, let's point nukes into all the liberal cities and then say, you know what, you either concede the election, Biden, or I will do X and Y. Or he has literally the military at his behest, right? Why wouldn't he just use the military? Why not get several nuclear submarines, pull them up into Chesapeake Bay and say like, okay, you know what, I have the ultimate Trump card, literally. But he never did anything like that because he wasn't trying to exert leverage there. His leverage was basically just trying to oblige Pence through rhetoric and then having people not riot, but protest very forcefully. Now, you could say that was stupid and it was for nothing, and that's kind of true, but also keep in mind that there was no violence implicated in the mens rea, his mens rea. No, this was the whole shebang right here, okay? I teased you for 4 minutes, but here it is. I'm honestly conflicted on how I feel about the shooting, but we'll chat about it on stream tomorrow. No. Conflicted how? Are you kidding me? And you could say, well, I have a somewhat different take on it than other people, but the way he worded it was so provocative in a way that was so indecent. And it's kind of like if you were to say, X and Y happened in this horrible, horrible scenario. But you know what? I feel conflicted about it. But it's a facetious way to word it in a way that was supposed to bait attention. And people might say, well, why give it the light of day? He's just rage baiting. No, it's about saying you need to be blackballed from opportunities. Like to say, like, you know what? You are okay with my political allies dying in a fucking rally that are completely innocent, then how about you don't get on these podcasts pretending like you have the moral high ground on jack squat? Because that's what needs to happen. It's not giving it attention. I'm just shitting on him, okay? And that's all true. Now look at this. Let me clarify. When I say conflicted, what I mean is that I lean towards seeing it as as a natural extension of the thing that Trump and the MAGA kids support. So I don't really see to have so much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it. Ridiculous. So this basically, in layman's terms, Destiny is saying the MAGA people did it first, therefore I don't care if they die. That's basically it. It isn't like any sort of enlightened centrist, like, I'll take the higher ground. The MAGA people did Jan 6, but you know what? These MAGA supporters died, therefore I feel bad for them. No, he's saying, oh, you did something that I'm going to exaggerate and lie about, like Jan 6 and the election stuff from 2020. But then also I'm going to shit on you too because I'm as scummy as it gets. That's what Destiny's really thinking in his head. Okay, conflicted, so you endorse violence? Oh, I'm sorry. What happened to 1776? Was that a peaceful protest? Again, missing the point entirely. There's a difference between having a revolutionary war against a tyrannical monarch, theoretically, over, let's say, in this scenario also, assassinating the fucking monarch, okay? It's a very different thing. Killing Trump is different from a secession movement or anything like that with a political backing to it. Some 20-year-old tries to kill the president. It's not even close morally to 1776. And political violence in particular is more geared towards terrorism, right? That's what people see it as. Now, you might be technical and say, well, a civil war is political violence, or if you were to assassinate Saddam Hussein, that would be political violence. But it's not the same thing because Trump is not Hitler. Trump is not Saddam Hussein. So it just doesn't line up here. Another rage-baiting post, okay? Now, you could imagine that Destiny, had he been teleported to 20 years ago, he'd be tweeting this outside or really in the inside of his locker in the gym, okay? So just imagine this, okay? This kid is such a little bitch. He goes and he says, if we learned anything today, I hope it's realizing the importance of principles I've stressed many times on the stream before. Having a firearm means absolutely nothing if you don't spend time at the range practicing with it. So the point with this tweet was to say, oh my God, I'm going to mock the Trump people by saying, oh, you're pro-gun? Well, this guy should have had better aim, and I would have liked it. I will say, I was worried for a moment about what would happen to Biden if he ordered this, but then I remembered, thank God, conservatives all agree that the president has absolute criminal immunity when acting as his role as commander-in-chief. Prayer emoji. Again, another facetious argument. You saw Harry Sison, another enemy of the show. Basically, people that I don't like on the internet have had this talking point for the past week or two, where they're like, well, you know what? What if Biden were to order a SEAL Team 6 on Trump? Okay? And you know what happened here? A guy tried to kill him. And then you're going to make a joke about presidential immunity because the Jack Smith case got put back, and all these cases against Trump that people like Destiny were hoping to God that those Hail Marys would have turned into points on the board, and they got fucking felted. They got swatted out. The safety came in, okay? The Supreme Court just basically Shaq dunked it on your ass because you people like Destiny just hate Trump so much that they cannot stand for a Supreme Court to have a decent decision like the immunity case where they kind of broke it in the middle. The Trump people were arguing one thing and the liberals on the other end, and they kind of met in the middle. And it was to say that, okay, you're liable for stuff that's outside of the presidency, which duh, but then also if you're doing stuff as a president, it's legal. And there's also impeachment. People like Destiny won't mention this because they know impeachment would probably never happen where you'd get the guy removed because Trump would probably never do something that would get him removed. If he did something objectively horrible, he would get voted out, like if he touched a kid or something, but he would never do that, and Destiny knows it, which is why he doesn't include that when he jokes about the immunity because he's a fucking liar. Okay, now Wick TV, who's a dysgenic orbiter of Destiny, it's like a Hobbit's gremlin. Basically, Destiny quote tweets just a basic condemnation, and he goes, well, lol, I'm sorry, but soy raging. Okay, by the way, rich soy coming from this guy, but soy raging out over this when conservatives have been unhinged for the past 8 years is beyond fucking stupid. I'm way, okay, you type like a girl, the fuck over it. Remember, all the conservative dipshits about principles today joked about Pelosi's husband getting hit, or, who cares about the Pelosi's? Number one, seriously, I don't give a shit. Two, it just doesn't matter. It's not even a good scale. Like, okay, the House of Representatives leader's husband that has no political role of his own, Paul Pelosi, got hit with a hammer by some like gay prostitute. I don't even know. Who cares? It's just small beans. Anyhow, when it comes down to it, He's saying, "Oh, I've taken it from the magatards for 8 years. I get to be sarcastic about Trump almost dying. No, fuck you, SUFFA, Destiny, SUFFA, bish. Really? You're gonna be like, MAGA. He really wants this Jussie Smollett thing to be real on himself. Is what he's asking for. He's saying like, oh my God, I'm such a victim. No, you're not. Like, okay, the MAGA people have been vindicated. Despite the many faults of Donald Trump, Jan 6, the election stuff." He is still going to beat Biden, and that eats at Destiny because he's been in denial. He's been coping and lying about the salinity of his candidate of choice over Bernie, by the way, who's older than Joe and is still mentally there. I mean, an idiot, but still not demented. I mean, he's demented. He's a socialist, but he's not dementia-addled and riddled. But to get to the bottom line of this riddled and abusing bitch, Destiny, after overdosing on Vyvanse, is over here on the floor convulsing because of the magatards, apparently, and it's a pathetic thing to watch. At this point, I think Destiny throughout the day went back to Home Depot to get some more rope to hang himself with because he's still tweeting on July 13th. Conservatives win the guy they wildly support, who tried to lead an insurrection against the government and then was granted absolute criminal immunity to save him from his federal cases get shot at. Okay. You see how contemptible this thing is, really. It's an indictment on his character. He's saying that, oh, well, Trump's winning by this and this. Are you surprised somebody tried to kill him? And it's totally not horrible. You see how bad the prosecution is, where not only do they try to beat him at the ballot box, which is fine, or they try to prosecute him over Tic Tac stuff, bullshit, and then they add on this assassination attempt, and then Destiny's like, well, I mean, what else were we going to do? You're just showing your hand, dipshit. Really? How about you just beat him the normal way? If Joe Biden beat Trump would be done. He'd be finito. He wouldn't even run again. He'd be too old and he'd be like, oh my God, he'd be so emasculated. But instead, you're just acting indifferent and turning a blind eye while you're doing your LSD on the side to some fucking 20-year-old dork trying to kill the president because you are butthurt. No, this was truly heinous. This is one of the worst things he's ever done as a person, okay? And that's a long list. But as you can see, this post was basically it was R-rated, okay? But basically, for the lack of a better term here, Destiny, there was something about Corey dying, who was this dad. I think he's so as we should all know, obviously, Matthew Crooks murdered Corey Compitamore or Comperator. Okay, so this was a normal, upstanding dude. Okay, 50-year-old father. I think he was a firefighter. Just normal guy. And Destiny, reacts to the death of a Trump supporter by saying, "All I see is Biden up +1 in Pennsylvania." Again, really? Okay. So let's say Destiny were to touch grass, and let's say Biden had the balls to actually hold a rally in person. And, Joe's speaking. He's using like 5 different teleprompters just in case his eyes start staring at the ceiling cats, and he is trying to stumble across as coherent as possible. And he's doing a speech. You see Destiny behind him on his phone, probably looking at Reddit stuff that you don't want to know about. And, some MAGA guy, just American sniper, like legitimate American sniper, he doesn't miss this time, hits Destiny. And then I tweet and I say, all I see is Trump up by 5 in Florida. Really? Okay. It's fair game. What Destiny's saying is that if he or any of his compadres were to get shot, that we could laugh about it and we wouldn't have to feel bad about it. That's his morality, by the way. His morality. None of this like normal, sort of courtesy of like, hey, this person just died. How about we do not make fun of him for, I don't know, maybe 6 hours? But no, he couldn't even wait a day. He has to just shit on him right then, okay? Some normal dad, some normal guy. Why? You have to involve them in this joke. It's ridiculous. Just imagine you get called up to heaven. Well, not heaven, but you're getting judged in the afterlife. And God says like, you made fun of this innocent dude who was trying to protect his own family in a fucking rally because some lunatic, ridiculously dumb person tried to kill the president. And Destiny has to account for the fact that he made fun of him for no reason. And some liberal might say, oh, yo, you're a snowflake, Lalo. Okay, fuck it then. Okay, this is disgusting. Also, a reasonable leftist, Destiny, is disagreeing with Obama because Obama was at least tactful enough to say like, hey, let's not have violence in our democracy. But of course, Destiny has to be like, oh, well, the magatards and the replies. Okay, thank you. Here we have Jordan Peterson counter-signaling Destiny spurging on the timeline. Okay, so easy layup shot. And then Destiny retorts with saying, you've run around bad-mouthing me on every show you've been on since the conversation, and you're part of the problem, Jordan, more than most people. You're a disgrace to the profession and to mankind. Now, Jordan Peterson has his like benzo addiction problem, and he has a daughter that's kind of wayward. But the truth is that Jordan Peterson, by all means, is not as much of a disgrace to whatever profession he's a part of and to mankind than is Destiny, who literally got cucked by the dollar store version of the Flash, and obviously paid for Melina's apartment while she was getting railed by Ezra Miller's Dallas Stowe edition. Okay, so keep this in mind. Disgrace to humanity and whatever. He cannot really say that about anybody. He takes drugs, hard drugs, and he's having all this like sex, bisexual, fellatio on men, and then all of a sudden this guy Destiny has the moral high ground. I don't know how the fuck that's even possible. You would have to go to cell block 1 to even think about having a better moral character. I guarantee you the average felon in a prison cell right now has better moral character than Destiny. I'm not even joking, not for a second. And it's not even to defend Trump because he's a felon. I'm just saying, like, the average, you get Tyrone Smith, he's a better guy than Destiny, okay? It's true. It's just true. Another key example of Destiny's lack of a moral backbone. So basically, he says, I'll only condemn the shooting once Republicans condemn Jan 6. Ridiculous. Really, there's no moral equivalency. The thing on Trump was 20 times worse than the Capitol. Easily. And I mean, this sort of morality is ridiculous. Oh, let's do a deal. Quid pro quo on morality. It's like saying, I'll condemn the Armenian, you know what, if you condemn the German stuff from World War II. What? I mean, if they're both bad, they're both bad. You wouldn't say, well, I'll acknowledge your thing if you acknowledge that I did something. Well, no. That's not how it works, dog. Look at this idiot. You have no obligation to support anti-democratic dictators in a democratic country. We didn't vote for independence. What? So what's the implication here, by the way? Look, so he's saying, so the implication is that he wouldn't support an anti-democratic dictator like Donald Trump. Really? Okay, great. You can't reason with these people at this point. People like Destiny. Trump is not a dictator by any means. The average elected politician in South America is less democratic than Donald Trump is, actually. You fucking imbecile. Now, Tulsi Gabbard with a sane opinion saying, the assassination attempt on President Trump is a logical consequence of repeatedly comparing him to Hitler. After all, if Trump truly was another Hitler, wouldn't it be the moral duty to assassinate him? Destiny retorts saying, maybe it's a result of him repeatedly acting like a dictator instead. Smug emoji. Look, the truth is that she just literally spelled it out for everybody. If the media keeps calling Trump Hitler, then obviously, some people would say, you should assassinate Hitler. Okay, then Destiny kind of just double stupids it by saying, well, you know what, actually, yeah, he is like Hitler, so yeah, no, it is based. You see what the problem is? Okay, great. Okay, now here we have a good example of Destiny's idiocy. Okay, so Patrick McDavid, who's a podcast host, he is obviously saying fuck CNN because, yeah, true. And then, it says Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at the rally. Okay, Destiny says, it was a breaking news headline because no one knew immediately what happened, you fucking dolt. Tell that to the people that were shot in the head, actually, you dipshit. Okay, so let's ask Corey in heaven. Did you know what was happening when you got your... you see how stupid that sounds, Destiny? He just begs the ignorance of people, like that they don't look into it. Like, oh, yeah, I guess the CNN article was made within 30 seconds of the shooting because they didn't know what happened. It literally took people... I mean, I don't even know what to say, bro. You hear these like snaps and you might think they're fireworks, but people are clearly ducking down. If Trump fell down and the headline were that, then why the hell would there be hundreds of people around Trump like crouching down screaming for help? Because Trump fell? Oh my God, he fell! And they're all going to duck down like there's a shooting? Oh, because there was a shooting. The people at CNN knew what it was. Or at least they thought it was like something that made the people at the time think it was a shooting, but they reported it as him falling because there are fake news. They are fake news. And Destiny is both stupid, but also manipulative in the fact that he's like, oh, they didn't know better. Really? Okay. So here we go. This is the bottom line here. Donald Trump incited an insurrection, and I have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or anyone who supports him. So what that means is that if I were to get killed, Destiny would be like, oh, okay, well, see, that's how... I wouldn't even say heartless because that's kind of cool. Okay, that's a Kanye song. I'm just saying overall, the guy's like over here disconnected from reality because he hates Trump so much. The Trump derangement syndrome has killed him and he's revived into a TDS zombie. Okay, it's that bad. Another important psychological note, okay? Look at this. Cenk Uygur with a common sense take says, one more credit for Trump and his fans today, and only today. Trump sticking up his hand and saying fight, 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 while the crowd chanted USA, USA, USA was badass. Okay, which was true. A lot of leftists could say like, okay, that was pretty cool, And then Destiny, the party pooper that he's known as being, says, never thought I'd see Cenk fighting for space on his knees in front of Trump too. So by that logic, if Joe Biden, just by the grace of God, did something really, really, really historically cool, and I said, for this one day, when Joe Biden was able to string along a coherent paragraph, and I say, credit to Biden, what would the Republicans jump down my throat and be like, oh my God, you're sucking on Biden? Nobody would say that because it's just common sense. Like, okay, certain politicians, no matter what the party, can do incredible things sometimes. Yeah. And so the obvious point is to say like, okay, Cenk is not being a Republican partisan at all. And Destiny to glance at sort of assertion is stupid. Also notice, it's not so much that he disagrees with what Cenk is saying. It's more so the fact that Cenk is giving any sort of positive reporting and goodwill towards Donald Trump. Destiny hates Donald Trump so fucking much that he cannot stand another leftist being like, you know what? Okay, that was cool. He can't take it. He can't take it. No. Here's another banger that I just stumbled on across. So Benny Johnson said something pretty tame like, we learned something, and is that Trump is willing to die for this movement, which is obviously true. He's willing to risk his life because if he really wanted to, he could have just stayed at Mar-a-Lago, and I doubt anybody would try to kill him there. But the point being is that Destiny says there should be a federal law that forces disclosure of payments/taxes for people who do news commentary. I want to see who's paying you for these asinine opinions. So ironic that the guy who comes from the establishment, a guy who basically agrees with MSNBC and NBC, fucking CNN, all these other news sources that are all mainstream center-left sources, okay? To say that, oh, the Republicans are the ones that are big money, that are being paid, like, dude, okay, well, who has the fucking money to begin with? Who's in control of the country? It's definitely not conservatives, by and large. And you could say, well, Fox News is the biggest thing, and it's like, yeah, it's a plurality, though, not majority. Again, this bastard is still coy. He says, if I've offended anybody with the recent tweets, I like to make things right. DM me and I'll buy you front row seats to the next Trump rally. Okay, great. Apparently, I just saw, again, the Biden plus up one in Pennsylvania. It literally, he was showing a picture of Corey's fucking blood staining the entire bleachers, basically. Just a ton of blood. Saying that Biden's up in Pennsylvania. I can't even show it on YouTube. I don't want to get flagged or whatever, but like, Jesus Christ, dude. Sick. Okay, no, look at this. Some guy says beat him at the ballot box, and then he says beating conservatives at the ballot box is easy. Remember, Hillary Clinton destroyed Trump. You have to win the Electoral College, the thing that Trump tried to rig last election. So not only is he saying that the last election was kosher, but he's also saying that Trump also tried to rig it himself. What? Dude, what? It's like if a shop owner accused somebody of shoplifting, and then the shoplifter's like, actually, no, you stole your merchandise in the first place. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? This guy's actually nuts. This one's super rich. I'd rather watch my wife get railed 10,000 times over than to betray family in the Ukraine by throwing them under the bus to win an internet debate, you coward, spineless fuck. So keep this in mind. Destiny, literally on stream, and it took too long to find, but basically on stream like a day or two ago, said that that if his parents, who are Trump supporters, were to go to a Trump rally and they got shot, that would be up to them. Like basically saying like, oh, I don't care. Okay, thank you. Okay, great. So, this guy literally says, oh, you threw your family under the bus because of Ukraine, which I don't even know what that's referring to. But then all of a sudden, if his parents were to get shot in a Trump rally, he wouldn't even care. So like, what's the moral high ground here? It's ridiculous. Here he's saying that Corey, the guy who died in Pennsylvania, and Ashley Babbitt are both having fun with each other in hell. Again, don't you mean the bleachers he wanted to die on? So, again, referring to this guy saying this is the hill you want to die on. See, a problem with Destiny is that I think he's an atheist, and so he doesn't give a shit about the afterlife. So he feels completely free to shit on somebody who dies before him. And he doesn't care if we crap on him when he's dead, because he's already cooked in real life as it is. But beyond that, after he's supposed to die, he doesn't have any cognizance. If you're an atheist, that's what you believe in. So that's probably why he's openly just crapping on people that don't deserve it, because he doesn't have any respect. He doesn't think Corey's looking down from heaven because he doesn't even believe in that. It's disgusting because he treats everybody worse as an affect. At least a Christian, even if heaven isn't real, would still treat somebody who's dead with respect. But this guy has none of it because he doesn't believe in an afterlife. This is a guy from the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, basically telling Destiny to shut it the fuck down, which I completely agree with, dude. And Destiny's like, well, I hope you grow a spine one day and realize that your company are directly responsible for Corey's death. This is so stupid. That's like, okay, that's like if the Daily Wire said, okay, this Biden supporter that died is the fault of the Young Turks for hyping up a liberal person to go to a rally to then get shot in an assassination attempt on Biden. That's like the equivalent if you were to reverse it. Just stupid as hell. Yeah, it's the Daily Wire's fault the guy Corey died. Okay, great. What a fucking idiot. Look at this. Anna Kasparian, who is the side piece of the Young Turks, who, I mean, she's cute, honestly, so I'm not even hating. But the point is like she's a leftist by all means, to the left of Destiny, a Bernie. What's a Bernie girl? I guess like a Bernie bitch. Anyway, I say this earnestly because your behavior has been manic on here lately. I think you should log off and you're spiraling. It was a great speech. And then Destiny retorts, coping, seething, and molding. Empty words mean nothing. If you want to complain about spiraling, I'll hold my career trajectory up to yours any day of the week. So, quite literally, whenever somebody more successful is losing any argument, they immediately appeal to their authority of my dick is bigger than yours. I have more subscribers than you. I have a better trajectory than you. And which is ironic coming from Destiny because in the past year, he's been cucked, felted, seething, and molding. And now he's gone from Biden probably is going to win a year from now to he's actually on track to lose by a lot. By a lot. And then he retorts to the Daily Wire saying, you killed Ashley Babbitt too. You're to blame for both deaths and you'll take responsibility for neither. It's so off base, the guy's not playing baseball. Alrighty, folks. So in this video, we have covered the Destiny timeline over the past, I think, 72 or so hours. Basically, the bottom line is that the guy's a scumbag. We already kind of knew this. Anybody comment down below if this is like the first time you've even considered the fact that the guy is worse than Bill Maher somehow. Bill Maher over Destiny insofar as pretend centrist leftists are concerned. Okay, so I mean, even Bill Maher's not stupid enough to say shit like this. It's ridiculous. SUFFA, Destiny, SUFFA. It's over for you, Destiny. It's all gonna get worse. He's like 35, midwit. The methamphetamine or amphetamine pills that you take are gonna really start eating at your brain. I mean, it already is. I mean, RFK had brain worms. I think you have a fucking caterpillar in there. It's a disgusting thought, but it's so true. So again, comment down below any sort of disagreements you have. If the Destiny Reddit found this, deal with it, and don't deal with it. This is not it. No, don't do anything. Don't strike me. But the point is like this guy is an awful person, and I'm so glad to be vindicated on that fact. And anyway, I do not wish any harm to Destiny because I only want him to lose on the internet. Okay, how about that? I'm a nice guy. See y'all on the next one. Oh, like the video, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Adios.